Yes, sir. Super Bowl showdown, Showtime Mahomes, TB12. The Chiefs are favored by 3. Oh, Max Kellerman, how likely is it that Brady's Bucks, Tom Brady in the cliff, Tom Brady in the ravine, upset the greatest player you've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
Very likely. I'm surprised, legitimately surprised, and don't think the Chiefs should be favored here. And consider this, they're favored still by a field goal. The Bucs are at home. That suggests that on a neutral site, or, certainly if they were at home, but even on a neutral site, it would be more than 3 points that the Chiefs are favored by, maybe 4.5 points, something like that. The point is, when I look at this game, you look at the rankings of the players by ESPN, by all different outlets, the general consensus is 4 of the 5 best players in the game are on the Chiefs. 10 of the best 15 are on the Bucs. In other words, the high-end talent, the Chiefs have better than the Bucs. But the depth of great talent, the Bucs have better than the Chiefs. And that's really significant here. Think about the Bucs. The whole thing is you got to get pressure with 4 on Mahomes. Vita Vea, the big nose tackle, is supposed to be out for the season after the Chicago game. If people remember, he was reported as out for the season. He's back with Ndamukong Suh in the middle. They have Shaquille Barrett and JPP on the outside. They are ferocious up front. Their linebacking tandem, arguably the best in football. Their front 7 is really ridiculously good. And by the way, they're banged up at safety, but their secondary has been covering everyone. And all 3 levels of the defense have been taking the ball away, have been creating turnovers. And then you look at the Chiefs missing their 2 best offensive line players, both offensive tackles out. There's not going to be a pocket for Mahomes. There's going to be pressure off the edges on Mahomes. And think of the weapons. Only O.J. Howard isn't available on offense. They have name-brand running backs who still have gas in the tank behind an offensive line that was playing absolutely elite this season. The Bucs have an elite offensive line, top 5. The Bucs have receivers everywhere you look. No one's even talking about Antonio Brown in this game. They have so many receivers. The only reason the Chiefs are favored, really, when you analyze it, replace Mahomes with any other quarterback, I don't believe they're favored. I think that people don't even realize how good they think Mahomes is. That's the reason the Chiefs are favored. I also like them to win, but I consider that an upset. When I analyze the game, if I took Mahomes out and just put another great quarterback in, I wouldn't be taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, but to me, just my personal thing is that makes no sense, because if Mahomes is everything that you say he is, unless they're planning on kidnapping him or he's getting injured prior to the game or something, he's going to be there. And because he's going to be there, you combine that with the level of greatness you've religiously talked about him being in possession of, then I'm sorry, that puts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at a decided disadvantage. Then when you take into account the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've got a top 8 defense. They are number 1 against the run. And who are they going against? A team that could give a damn about running the football, because they want to pass all day, okay? And oh, by the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ranked 21st against the pass. And their worst performance against the pass was against the very team that they're about to go in the Super Bowl against, when they gave up 269 yards passing to Tyreek Hill all by his lonesome, 207 yards in the first half. I just look at it from the standpoint, do I give the Buccaneers a chance? Yes, I do. Because I think when you look at the weapons that they have, whether it's Gronk, whether it's Antonio Brown, the Mike Evans, the Chris Godwins, assuming Chris Godwin catches balls and he's not dropping any footballs. I like him, but damn it, you've been dropping too many balls, Chris Godwin. Stop dropping the damn football, okay? You got to take those things into consideration. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that those weapons give them about a 30% chance of winning this game. But that's about all, because I think that Kansas City is such a juggernaut offensively that whatever it is, and I'm also remembering Tom Brady threw three interceptions in the second half against Green Bay. You can't make any mistakes against Kansas City. You can't do it. You do that, you're going to pay a very, very, very heavy price. And by the way, Max, I don't think the first game was as close as the score indicated. I think that Kansas City took their foot off the gas. They were up to a 17-0 lead in the first quarter. They could have ran away with it, but they just don't do that nearly as much as they should. I think the Super Bowl is a different ball game, however, and I expect them to win this game, even though I got the final score being 38-34.
Yeah, you're talking about the Chiefs' offense, and that is why I like the Chiefs, because I think Mahomes is going to perform yet another miracle. He's a miracle, man. He's going to perform a miracle and beat him by the skin of their teeth. And I don't think it's going to
require a miracle.
The Bucs, by the way, Tom Brady, all the Super Bowls are close. He doesn't blow anybody out, and he doesn't get blown out. They always seem to come down to the wire. That'll be the case here.
They were down 28-3.
And I like, what's that?
They were down 28-3.
But how did it end?
I'm just saying, if they're down 28-3 to Patrick Mahomes, you think they're coming back?
Oh, here's the thing. The Chiefs' red zone defense is a real weakness for them. It's really not good. Bad red zone defense. And as much as we're focusing on the Chiefs' offense and how it doesn't matter how good the Bucs' defense is, Mahomes will find a way with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and these guys. What about the Bucs' offense? The Bucs have an elite offense. Tom Brady in a big game, as we know, is deadly. And look around. Evans, Godwin, AB, Scotty Miller. Gronk is there. Like, they have multiple tight ends with an offensive line that's playing elite. We're not paying enough attention to the Bucs offense versus the Chiefs defense. It's the biggest mismatch in the game.
Well, that's why we're expecting Tampa Bay to score points. The problem is we don't expect them to score enough points. And nobody assuming that Kansas City is going to hold Tampa Bay's offense in complete check. It's just enough check for Mahomes to walk away.
But you got a 4-point game.
Champion. I got a 4-point game.
All right, guys, this is the first time ever we're going to have the two past Super Bowl winners facing off in a Super Bowl. We'll keep it moving here. When we come back, we want to focus on the defenses in this. Gronkowski both playing in this one. They're both 31 years old, and they're both absolutely exceptional. Max, let me ask you this. When it's all said and done, who do you think will be considered the greatest in their prime, Kelce or Gronk?
Gronk. No knock on Kelce. He's amazing. But Gronkowski's the best I've ever seen. And I'm old enough to have seen, like Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez and just name a great tight end from the modern era. I've watched them play. I'm 47 years old. Gronk is the best I've seen. He's the best I've seen. The biggest mismatch, 6'6", 270. He could do every single thing, and he was the most potent tight end weapon. And by the way, blocked, like having an extra offensive lineman for real, did everything you want a tight end to do. Guys, he also was a fixture in the playoffs for how many years? Was Tom Brady, except for 1 year with Randy Moss, by far most talented pass catcher. And incidentally, you said it, they're both 31 years old, but Gronk has taken a beating and is obviously no longer in his prime. So what I've seen as the best from Travis Kelce, to me, still is not good as the best of Gronk. Unless Kelce gets better than this, we've already seen the best of Gronk, and that's the best of all time, in my opinion.
Gronk is a stud. Gronk's a big boy that will run over you. But in terms of overall skill and what have you, I put Travis Kelce up there with anybody at the tight end spot. This brother's legit. He's an exceptional route runner. He's an exceptional pass catcher. He makes yardage after the catch. We understand that Gronk was special in that regard as well. And I would remind everybody, there was a couple of 1,000-yard-plus seasons that Travis Kelce had long before Patrick Mahomes ever came along. So it ain't like he's a product of Patrick Mahomes. This brother is the real deal. Travis Kelce can ball. And I would tell you, in terms of greater in his prime or whatever, I'd put Travis Kelce right up there with Gronk, because to me, this is Travis Kelce's prime. And look at what he's doing. We saw what Gronk did. He had 4,000-plus yard receivers as a tight end in his career. Travis Kelce has 5 thus far. Again, I look at Travis Kelce right now, as being in his prime at the age of 31. I just view it that way, and I say, hey, Travis Kelce right now against Gronk, and Gronk was in his prime, I don't mind going with Kelce. Doesn't bother me at all.
Well, Kelce's great. Kelce's an all-time great, obviously.
It's an all-time great. He's a future Hall of Famer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Kelce and George Kittle, it's an argument when both those guys are healthy. And in fact, because of Kittle's blocking, I'll give him a very slight edge over Kelce. But that's 1A and 1B. Either way you want it. When Gronk was in his prime, because he's not in his prime anymore, there was no 1B. It wasn't like, I wonder if this guy is as good as Gronk.
That's not, whoa. It wasn't a 1B, because George Kittle and Travis Kelce weren't playing back then. If Gronk was in his prime right now, we would be talking about the 3.
I think if Gronk was
We'd be talking about
this
the
is
three.
basically the argument.
Right.
If Gronk was in his prime right now, I think it'd be Gronk 1 and these two be battling it out for 2. I'll say this: Gronk's health is a factor. You know, Kelce may wind up with the better career numbers and all that stuff because
I'm not going by
Gronk always
numbers.
stay on the field.
I'm being fair. I'm being fair to you there. I'm not going by the numbers. That's why I didn't really bring it up, because I understand Gronk, age, injuries, attrition. We all know that he wanted to go walk away from the game because he had been, psychologically, it just got to him being injured all the time and playing with Bill Belichick in Foxborough. And I keep telling people, damn it, those hits hurt more in Foxborough than they do
Yeah, right,
in
that
Florida.
cold weather.
That cold weather, when you get hit, it hurts, okay? So I'll give you that. Travis Kelce's in Missouri. You know how cold it gets in Missouri? Let me tell you something. He's still doing what he's doing. Travis Kelce right now in his prime, with Gronk in his prime, with George Kittle in his prime. I still think we're having this discussion about Travis Kelce and Gronk right there. I'm telling you, the brother's special.
Gronk, think about when he was not the same pass catcher anymore and the separation wasn't quite the same, although there's always kind of separation if Gronk is on the field. He's so big, such a
he run you over.
Yeah, he run you over.
Yeah.
Think about the way he blocked his last year in New England. When he knew he could give you value there, it was he's like having a legit other elite lineman the way he was blocking. He's just look. These guys are all operating on a certain level. Gronk is the biggest. I thought he was the most high-level performer I've ever seen at the position.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. Agree to disagree. All right,
Yeah,
fellas, when we come back, it's a battle for the ages in terms of the quarterback position.